Hello everyone and welcome to round 6 of the season here in Canada. Now, as you may have noticed already, it's not the usual voices of Arav, Callum and Tom as they are currently unavailable. Instead, it will be me and Dan commentating for you today, and here is the man himself alongside me.
Yeah, as Shane said, we'll be attempting to finish off the remaining races of Season 13 before Season 14 kicks off on F1 2017. The championship race is starting to heat up after Ali and Aresi have both taken wins in the last two races after Neurotank had dominated the first three rounds. The circuit Gilles Villeneuve should provide some great racing with its long straights, but first, it's time for the qualifying report.
Alright, here we are for the qualifying comparison in the AOR PS4 F1 League at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for the Canadian Grand Prix. And this time we have the pleasure of viewing the onboard laps from Nadi X team in the Williams and Aresi in the Red Bull as they start off the lap by navigating their way through turns 1 and 2 as you normally do around the track and corners. Brief yellow flag there for Nadi, but luckily that car got out of the way, and so far after the first couple of corners it's dead equal between these two rivals. Pretty decent lines through turns 3 and 4 there. Can be quite hard there to keep it within the track limits while also carrying the momentum you need as they now head into the second sector of the lap through turns 6 and 7. Bit of a slide there for Nadi on the exit, and that's now the third car that Nadi has had to go past there on this lap so far. Doesn't seem to have put him off too much though, but that little oversteer moment might be the reason why Aresi is now slightly ahead into turn 8 and 9. Again, nice and clean from both the drivers through there as they head now down towards the hairpin with the heaviest braking zone on the circuit, 100 meters all the way down the gears to first on the apex. Aresi actually hitting that slightly better as well and is still marginally ahead, but here it is all about the exit, getting the traction route onto the massive back straight as Aresi now has the car getting out of the way for him. And then they have to mentally prepare themselves for the very tricky final chicane here. Can be quite tricky to spot the correct braking point as it comes at you very, very quickly, braking towards the apex, and it is nothing to separate these two drivers so far as they only have the run to the line to go. It's going to be so close. Who's going to take pole position here for the Canadian Grand Prix? Across the line, here we go, and this Nadi with the 1:11.655 on the 6,000th of a second ahead of the Red Bull.
So Jim Nardi X team bounces back after heartbreak at the end of the Monaco Grand Prix to take pole in Canada, and it's his rival Aresi joining him on the front row. J Fun was only 23 thousandths behind the poleman, but will start in P3 with H Racing Green impressing in P4. Clarkey and Ali will line up 5th and 6th with RBOS 7th and RC Wallen 8th. RC Alonso will be 9th with Disimplay rounding out the top 10. Woolley will be the first of the drivers to have free choice of tyre heading into the race, which could be key for strategy with Ferrari fan joining him on the 6th row. Big Shot and Walsh will make up the 7th row, with Jamie and Alex all the way down in 15th and 16th, quite a surprise for them too. Loki, Shelley and I Super Scrub will round out the drivers at setter time, with Jim Neurotank getting disqualified in qualifying but will be allowed to start the race. And now it's time for the Canadian Grand Prix.
It's race time here in Canada for round 6 of this season 13 championship. Nadi's on the pole for the first time this season, but he's got two Red Bulls right behind him who will be gunning for the victory here this afternoon.
Yeah, it got very close between Aresi and Nardi last time out in Monaco. It ended very badly for Nardi in the stewards, dropped him a whole heap of places after the race. Vaughan hasn't really had a great season so far. Obviously, finished 3rd last season, but it hasn't really gone well for him so far. He got involved with an incident with Nervo back in Spain, so he'll be looking to produce a very good result. We've got H Racing Green up in P4. He's not shown that kind of pace so far this season. Obviously GP2 champion, so he'll be looking for a good result here today. But Canada mainly comprised of chicanes and straights, which means the racing should be very close. Two very long DRS zones, slipstream very powerful on this game, so we should see some absolutely epic battles here today.
Yeah, and it's cloudy at the moment, but weather shouldn't be a factor this afternoon. No rain is predicted for this race, so it should be a very easy one-stop race for those guys starting out at the top of 10, as long as they're not starting on the Ultra Softs. The guys on Ultra Softs might choose to go for a one-stop if they so wish, but they're going to have to really stretch these Ultra Softs out towards the end of the stint and go to at least about lap 15 before they stick on a set of softs tyres, which these guys are on all at the back. So Alex down in 16th. Not good qualifying for him, but qualifying hasn't really been his strong suit in his AOR career. And now on board with Ferrari fan with a rather interesting point of view, quite high up in the cockpit as we head down the first of the DRS zones. And as the leaders now come onto the pit straight to the final chicane, onto the pit straight, and another tank's already been reset to the grid, so it's not been quite plain sailing so far here in Canada. Oh, it hasn't been plain sailing for him over the last couple of races actually, as his last win was back 2 races ago, and since then he has only scored a couple of points. But now as the last couple of cars slot into their grid positions, Loki in 17th in his grid position, as we now get ready for the 5 red lights. It's lights out, away we go. They're on for a really long time, and Nardi's got a good start. Thorne's had probably the worst start of the top 3. Aresi's got a great launch and is now having a look up the inside. Aresi's already gone spinning actually. Atrix and Green trying to defend from Clarkey. He's got the inside for turn 2, so he will keep that position on the run up to turn 3. So Aresi on board with him now down into 10th place. He's recovered from that little half spin that he had at turn 1. And as we see Wallen and RBOS going side by side through the first chicane, as we head now up to turn 6 at the end of the first sector. Aresi already passed Ferrari fan, already having a look up the inside of the Simplay, but that is not what Aresi needs at the start of this race. Now on board with Ali K, who is in 5th place, and as the top 2 are very close up front. Yeah, that was a pretty bad start for Aresi there, Dan.
Yeah, he's dropped a whole heap of places down into P9 and is amongst the drivers who have started outside the top 10, so it's been really difficult for him to fight back. But we're now on board with Fawn, obviously making up one position after that Aresi incident with Nardi, and he's in the slipstream of the Williams driver. He could possibly have a look down into the final chicane if he can get close enough. He is gaining very slightly, but he's down in lean actually, so just looking to save fuel to start his race. And now Ali's putting Clarkey under a whole heap of pressure heading to the final chicane, but Clarkey defends that inside line well. But yeah, a lot of drivers trying to make up places at the start of his Grand Prix, but obviously the slipstream does kind of cancel out. Oh my god, there's everything happening back here. Woolly's down in P20. I don't know what on earth has happened to him. There seems to be many drivers going side by side just ahead of them. That's involving Nervo, who grabbed up this super screw, I think that is. Then holding it round the outside of turn 1. I mean, very impressive if he can do that. We're not really getting a great POV of this, as Shelley seemingly just lets his teammate through. But that was big shot in P16, and he is missing a lot of front wing by the looks of it.
Yeah, he's got both of his end plates that have mysteriously vanished off the back of his car. And yeah, Wooly now 19th, having started 11th, so he's had a very poor start in this race, as Thorne is right on the back of the Williams of Nardi X team as we head into the hairpin of turn 10 on lap 2 of this Grand Prix. Remember, DRS is not enabled just yet. That will be this time, next lap it will be enabled, and Thorne can open the rear wing flap on the back of his rear wing, and it will give him a whole bunch of straight line speed. And now he's got the slipstream. Is it enough to try and have a look into the final chicane? He doesn't go for it just yet, so currently erring on the side of caution and not going for late lunge on the brakes. And remember, it is only the end of lap 2 as Jamie's up the inside of Walsh as they go through the second chicane. There's contact, they're glued together. Somehow they both make it through the corner, and now that's allowed RC Alonso out of nowhere to get past a pair of them. So good driving from Alonso. Jamie once again going up the inside of the Haas driver and makes it work this time, as the other Haas has a little bit of an adventure through turn 2. And yeah, that's Jamie up into whatever place it was. I've completely forgotten actually. I've yeah, completely forgotten what position he was fighting for. I think it was 14th, as Thorne once again, as we can see, all over the back of the Williams. Nardi's not got a lot of pace at the moment, and obviously the nature of the slipstream of this game, it's actually very hard to try and break it and pull away. You kind of have to rely on the guys behind to either battle or make a mistake for the leader to pull away. And a track like this with a whole bunch of straights, it's going to be very difficult for Nardi to pull away.
Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult to tell who has got the most pace at this point in the Grand Prix, because Thorne can just literally sit behind Nardi and probably gain well in excess of the second just due to the slipstream. But now he's got Rich and DRS. This is why he didn't make the move on the previous lap. He knew it was much more comfortable to go past on lap 3, heading into the final chicane. Then he'll get a second bite of DRS, so that'll help him pull away slightly from Nardi. as we're back with H Racing Green in P3. He's looking very good at the start of the race. It's the fastest after the race. He's probably got some decent pace in that McLaren, which is not really shown so far this season. Look at that tyre wear though, already up in the mid-30s. So it's really going to look difficult for these guys up front to be pulling off that one stop today.
Yeah, he's got a lot. He's got his rear tyre wear is absolutely horrific at this stage in the race. Already at 36% on lap 4. So it's not looking good for tyre wear on H Racing Green at the moment. And obviously off the back of a double DNF for the McLaren team at the same corner in a matter of half a second, I think, in Monaco. It's I think H Racing Green would gladly take a third place at this stage in the race, but obviously there's still another 30 odd laps to go as Nardi misses the apex over turn 8, and now he's going to be on the back foot against H Racing Green into the... Oh no, it's actually H Racing Green on the back foot against Clarkey into the hairpin. Clarkey going towards the outside of the corner, and he's overshot the corner slightly, and Harry's late enough on the brakes to keep it on the inside, and now Clarkey struggling for traction on the exit of the hairpin. He will get the DRS. Will H Racing Green get DRS as well? Yes, he does. He gets it off the back of Nardi. But now Nardi is away quite far up the road. So Harry doesn't have slipstream into the final chicane. But it is not enough for Clarkey to pass at the moment. Ali K also with the DRS right behind Clarkey has now got a great run at the final chicane. He's actually up the inside of the Sauber and is going to have the position into turn 1 late enough on the brakes and secures 4th place at the moment.
Yeah, but all that's allowed is the top 2 to start breakaway, which is ideal for them because then they can just almost work together to pull away, as Aresi is now up into P8 and has got a bit of a gap to catch up to Wallen, but I'm sure he'll have the pace to do that despite the slipstream. So Aresi's trying to make a bit of a comeback here, but he's lost a lot of positions just because he'll probably be up there with Vaughan and Nardi fighting for the lead of the race. But now on board with the second Williams driver of RC Wallen down in P7, so it's been a good start to this Canadian Grand Prix for the Williams team, both looking set for some decent points, and RWF up in P6. He obviously had a great race here in season 12, came very close to taking the win. Obviously, I think he finished in P2, as we're now on board with Ali, who's looking to find a way past H Racing Green, who won't have DRS from the car ahead, and so this is going to be a very easy pass for the Mercedes driver, and that's Ali K up into P3.
Yeah, that's the battling that H Racing Green and Clarkey did on the previous lap has actually cost them an awful lot of time to the two leaders as they've begun to stretch their legs up front. They're like 2.5 seconds ahead of them at the moment, and Ali might have the pace to try and pull them back in, but that tyre wear for H Racing Green at the moment is looking absolutely horrendous, already up to 50%, so he's got another probably 2 to 3 laps left in those before he has to make a pit stop, otherwise he'll be reaching the puncture territory, as Nardi looks like he's kind of struggling to hang on to the back of Thornton at the moment.
Yeah, he seems to drop an awful long way back on the previous lap. It seems to have maintained the gap, but if you drop out to that sort of 1 second window, obviously you don't get DRS. But if you go 1.5 seconds behind, you won't even get any slipstream, as what's happened.
Novo's been disqualified. I don't know if you picked that up at the bottom. Novo was disqualified. I'm not sure why. I think there was a car parked on the the pit lane. Clarkey's gone for a dive up the inside. That's a great move, actually. A very nice controlled dive bomb, but because he's on the inside, he's not got the better traction. And Harry, with the more grip around the outside, actually cuts across the front of Clarkey and almost swipes him into the barrier. And now he's still got very good straight line speed though as Clarkey, but he's not brave enough to go down the inside, as I think that was RBS making a pit stop behind us. And now coming out the final chicane, Clarkey once again up the inside. Will he finally get the move done on the McLaren into turn 1? Harry, he's going to run wide though. The McLaren's run wide through turn 1. Got the inside for 2, but they're all over the place. And once again, this battling is costing them so much to the leaders. Ali's now broken away by about 1.5 seconds. But Clarkey, crucially, now has finally got that move done. And now it's Wallen's turn to try and take through, as we've now got a replay of the start.
Yeah, so this is on board with Aresi. Definitely got the best start out of most people at the top end of the field. Looked up the inside of Nardi, heading to turn 1. Yeah, I mean, that's just an unfortunate situation, really. I mean, Nardi's not left a lot of space, but then Aresi really shouldn't have went to the footway hanging there. So on board with Qualy, obviously, he started in P11, which is actually not a bad place to start at a track like Canada. And heads into turn 1, everything looks okay. Oh my god, there's so many things happening due to Aresi spinning. He ends up getting hit, I think, off the side pod of RC1, I think that was. But now on board with Clarkey. and so he gets a much better start than Hex Racing Green. No idea what happened to the McLaren driver there, and then we'll see Aresi spinning there. Oh God, and then Clark loses a bit of his front wing. That definitely will not help him, and then that gives the time driver the P3. Now was a big shot. So many things happened at the start of this race. No wonder so many people were out of position. So big shot in key position, staying on the Ultrasoft, which is a bit of an interesting call. And then yeah, everyone just sort of grinds to a halt on the apex of turn 2. And so the drivers can go absolutely nowhere, and the big shot loses another part of his front wing, and it's a terrible start to the race for the Ferrari driver.
Yeah, that cost him quite a lot of front grip through the corners, so I won't be surprised if he makes a pit stop very soon in this race, as Thorn overshoots the final chicane slightly, but gets through it fine and okay without a warning. But yeah, he currently leads this race, and just in a second is Nardi at the moment. Right behind him, so we'll be picking up the DRS on the slipstream once again. These two, Hex Racing Green and Clark, are going side by side into turn 1, but no positions changed there. Aresi up in 7th ahead of the two Force Indies of the Simplay and Ferrari fan, and Ferrari fan doing a good job at the moment hanging on to them on the super softs. So he's sitting in a pretty good position against these guys, obviously definitely going for the one stop from his point of view, and he's starting on the super softs and he's planning to make a pit stop onto the softs. So the sim plate right up on the gearbox of Aresi at the moment. Aresi unable to break away from that pack of cars currently at this stage in the race, as Wallen is still just sitting behind at the moment. Bounces over the curves at turn 8 and 9. He's sitting behind at the moment the two cars in front as they battle away, and I think it's inevitable that those two are going to have a crash at this rate, the amount of hard battling they're doing at the moment. But now it's going to be interesting to see if Clark can actually pull away, because he looked like he's gapping them slightly as the top three are long gone at this point in the race.
Yeah, obviously Clark's pace is getting hurt by that front wing damage he's picking up. I don't know why drivers are so intent on battling so much early in the race. As the Simplay tries to look at the inside of Aresi just bails out of the entire situation, goes into a pit lane, and the Simplay going deep has actually allowed his teammate, a Ferrari fan, attaching towards turn 1. The Ferrari fan is in standard and has no interest in passing his teammate, so there's the whole position of Clark. He pits on lap 8, but he has to change his front wing, so that's going to cost him an awful lot of time. And I think that is Aresi who's now jumped in. So that is cost Clark at home. He could have a 20-second pit stop. An absolute disaster for the time.
Whoa, and speaking of disasters, that's a disaster for RC Wallen, who was doing such a good job and then just dropped it coming out of turn 6 and 7. And it's a difficult traction zone, it's very easy to do that. And yeah, well, that's not going to end well for him, and he's definitely going to have to make a pit stop to get that front wing changed. And Big Shot has the tide for some reason that we are currently unaware of. And what is Thorn going to do? Is he going to anticipate a virtual safety car or full safety car? He is going to come into the pits, get rid of those ultra soft tyres. Nardi and Ali's pitted, so Nardi's the only one who's carried on at this stage in the race. So as you can see, he now takes the lead of the race, because obviously he hasn't got a pit stop, but he is miles ahead of anyone else at this stage in the race because of all of the people that have pitted. And Ferrari fan is now up into 2nd place and Alex is in 3rd. Thorn comes out from his pit stop. The race leader before he came into the pit stop, and he is in a whole heap of traffic.
That has possibly worked out absolutely horrifically for Thorn, as Ali has emerged well into some nice clear air. So if Thorn gets held up for a couple of laps, and this gives Ali a golden opportunity to really catch up with Harvey. It's all over the pack of Ali. Obviously, Harvey on like lap 6 or something. It's a very early pit stop. He's going to a bit, but not an awful lot, just simply due to how early he pitted us. Now we've got Ferrari fan up in P2 going a very solid race, but now Alex is behind him, once again showing better race pace than his qualifying would suggest. I'm not surprised by that. He qualified all the way down like P16, P15, something like that. But now we've got Nardi, and surely he has got to respond to Thorn and Ali coming to the pits, and indeed he does. On the end of lap 10, so I don't know whether that actually puts him within range of the 1 stop, because 10 laps on a set of ultra soft, 25 laps on a set of soft. I think it's possible. Possibly.
It might be quite marginal. Thorn's trying to get past very late on the brakes into the final chicane, but Super Scrub and Shelley having absolutely none of it at all. So this could well hurt Thorn a lot here if he can't get past this traffic. But I'll tell you what, that undercut for Thorn has worked out very well, surprisingly, even though he was in traffic, because that gap looks actually a tiny bit bigger. So that extra lap on the Ultra Softs has actually hurt Nardi a little bit. But RBOS is actually sitting pretty in a good position. He's in the net third at this stage in the race, and I would imagine pitting this early. Quite a few of you guys might have to pit again, but we'll see, because we're only on lap 11 in this race. Aresi is in some nice clean air himself with absolutely no one around him, so he can get his head down and start to march onto the back of these guys, as Thorn's still struggling to get past the traffic. Super Scrub in 6th place right behind Shelley, and they're both battling half the position. Thorn, you can see how much more grip he's got through the hairpin, able to take a much tighter line even on the exit. And now has he got the straight line speed to try and get past Super Scrub? Super Scrub still going to pick up the slipstream off of Shelley, and Thorn up the inside. Super Scrub trying to squeeze him, and Thorn late on the brakes, and he's got that position nice and cleanly, and Super Scrub has to bounce over the curb, and I don't see why he didn't give it up slightly sooner, but anyway, now it's Nardi's job to try and find his way past the Sauber once he gets onto the back of those cars, of course.
Yeah, I mean, the problem for Thorn, obviously, is finding a way past Super Scrub, is that once he gets past Shelley, then all the drivers ahead have got DRS on each other. That just means it's an absolute nightmare trying to find a way past down the DRS straight, so Shelley just moves over Thorn, absolutely no interest in battling that. They're very different policies. The Super Scrub was quite intent on trying to keep his position, but Shelley just probably realising that he doesn't want to lose ground to the drivers ahead, who he's obviously battling for, and he actually just in terms of position. But low-key Jamie, then Alex and Ferrari, I guess it is. Yeah, it is actually. So these drivers, well, they're all going to be going on to the one stop. We don't know yet at this point whether Thorn is also going to be trying to do that, as Loki loses the rear end, put out of the hairpin. But I don't think he'll be getting DRS of Jamie yet. He seems to drop back a fair bit in the last lap. And now Thorn will be able to power past that Mastrella, and that is the net racer that into P4.
Nardi meanwhile makes his way past Super Scrub for 7th as well. He bounces over that curb at the final chicane as well. So here we go on to lap 13 then. Loki right behind Thorn, sorry, that's Shelley right behind Loki as they go into turn 1. And Super Scrub right behind at the moment. So Nardi's got himself in a bottleneck at the moment. He's not really caught in the bottle. That's a completely wrong phrase to use. But anyway, yeah. Nardi in 7th place at the moment, right behind Shelley, and trying to make his way past. So it's going to be, these guys are not going to pit for a long time. They're probably going to go for another 7 to 10 laps and stick on a set of super softs towards the end of the race, providing there's no safety car, of course. But RC Wallen is apparently going to take the lead, even though I believe he's just come out of the pit lane. So a little bit of a timing glitch there from Codemasters. Anyway, into the hairpin we go at turn 10. Nardi not feeling a move in the hairpin on the brakes, and Shelley actually runs deep into the hairpin. This could give Nardi the opportunity he's been waiting for on the Manor driver, as we head now down the back straight with the DRS wide open for the Williams and for the Manor in front. Nardi's got actually quite good straight line speed, and Shelley once again no interest in fighting the net race leaders, as Walsh gets swamped by RBOS and Ali and has to relinquish both of the positions into the final chicane. So they RBOS and Ali up into 9th and 10th.
Yeah, I have to say this is smart from Shelley. He's realising which battle he's going to pick, and he's just not losing any time trying to battle the leaders, as Ali is now working his way from the peak. But RBOS still ahead, so it's looking good for the Renault driver.
Yeah, and at the moment as we head now into the second sector, turn 6 and 7. So Jamie's brought himself into play with Alex and Ferrari fan, so it's looking pretty good at the moment. This is what tends to happen at Canada. You get in a slipstream chain, and no one seems to fall off the back of anyone else because they're all in the slipstream, so they're all able to go to keep up with each other. So now as we head into the hairpin at turn 10, Thorn going around the outside of Jamie. Jamie runs a little bit deep, tries almost to squeeze Thorn in the wall. And now he's got given space on the exit of the corner, and now as we head down the back straight, Thorn with the DRS wide open as breezes straight past the McLaren, and now Alex having a look up the inside of the Ferrari fan. They're trying to make it side by side through the chicane, And now this is going to give Thorn the opportunity that he needs to take back the lead of this race. Those two really compromised themselves going through that corner. And Alex with a half-hearted move into the final chicane loses the position to Thorn. Is now he going to lose the position back to Ferrari fan that he fought so hard to get. Jamie's getting himself involved as well as we head down into the first chicane, turn 3 and 4. But Thorn takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Alex is in second place past Ferrari fan, who is, I would imagine, beginning to struggle on those super softs. And Nardi is all over the back of the McLaren, trying to get past Jamie now.
Yeah, so Thorn has managed to work his way all through this traffic. Fair play to him into the lead of this Grand Prix. And now Nardi has got to do the same. He wants to challenge the Red Bull driver for the win here today. But all these drivers looking pretty decent. And after lap 15, they're looking good with their one-stop strategy as Nardi finds a way past Jamie up the inside at the hairpin. So very good move there from the Williams driver. But now he's just got to find a way past Ferrari fan and Alex. And then he can try and challenge Thorn, who already looks like he's pulling a fair bit of a gap as we head into the final chicane for the 15th time in his Grand Prix. Over these curves of Ferrari, and he's very close to Alex. All these drivers, you can almost throw one bench sheet over all of them as Nardi looks up the inside of the Rolls India towards turn 1. Try and hang around the outside of turn 2. That was very impressive. Try and get on the traction earlier with his fresher tyres that have more grip, but they've managed to go around the outside of this chicane, and he's done it. That's a very impressive move from the Williams driver. He gets himself up into P3, and now he can try and find a way past Alex, and that should be relatively easy because Alex won't be getting DRS on the form for much longer.
Yeah, Thorn's beginning to break away up front at the moment as Loki was all over the back of the McLaren of Jamie 905 into the chicane at 6 and 7. And now as we go through 8 and 9, we've got Shelley right behind this group. Remember, Shelley was down at the back with his teammate at the beginning of this race, down in 19th and 20th. And now he's doing a great job holding onto this train up in 7th place at the moment as Loki gets very close to the back of Jamie at the hairpin. So is Shelley going to have the straight line speed to try and pick his way past Loki? Hopefully we'll find that out in a moment. Meanwhile, Nardi with the DRS is going to make his way past Alex, a load more overspeed than the Renault, and he is easily up into 2nd place, and now he can go hunting after J-Thorn. But if the start of the race was anything to go by, you would think that Thorn's got the pace at the moment over the Williams driver.
Well, yeah, it's going to see how it plays out in the next few laps as Ferrari can hit on lap 16, sorry, for a second on soft tyres, so that should be him easily going to the end of this race. So now Thorn to find a way past top 2. That's a great move, just opportunistic as you like, up the inside turn 1, and that's going to move the race.
Yeah, Alex and Ferrari fan really compromised themselves going side by side through that final chicane. But it worked very well in Thorn's favour as he was able to nick past the pair of them. And now on board with Aresi, it's not been plain sailing for him this afternoon, as he is down in 10th place at the moment, with obviously a load of pit stops to happen so far in this race, as we've got a bunch of soft runners still going around up front. But now on board with Ali K and RBOS, so the Mercedes driver is still yet to find his way past RBOS at the moment in this race. Been behind him for the thick end of 7 or 8 laps now at this point. And is he going to have a look into the hairpin at turn 10? Has a slight look, but not late enough on the brakes to do so. And Super Scrub at the moment hanging on to the back of them, so he's doing well at the moment with those kind of tyres that he's got. And now Ali K has got the DRS wide open down into the final chicane, breezes past the Renault, and that is the Mercedes up into 7th place for now, but he's got two guys making a pit stop, so that'll be 5th place for the Mercedes driver. And now Nardi is kind of there or thereabouts with Thorn, but I don't know if he's closed the gap anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting stage of the race for the top 2, because it's just a simple shootout. We've got the more pace. I don't know if we're making another pit stop. That'd be interesting to see. And if they do, they're going to have another set of ultra softs in the next few laps. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Alex still out on his soft tyres, so I don't know if those guys will be going for a set of super softs or really trying to push it to a set of ultra softs at the end of the race.
Yeah, we're going to have to see what their tyre life is. If hopefully someone can give us an indication of what their tyre life is, as we now are on board with H Green. Oh, so this is what happened to him. He's got a puncture. Yeah, I had no idea he actually dropped completely out of contention. He was doing, his tyre wear has been so bad that he's reached a puncture on lap 9 on the right rear. So that's his race massively compromised. And now here we are on board with him down in 14th, and he's about to lose that 14th to Shelley, who makes a nice move up the inside. And even at this stage, H Green's tyre wear is abysmal, quite frankly. And now he's already got to double the tyre wear of his front. And now, as we head down into the final chicane, he's not got the straight line speed to come back at the manor. So that's Shelley on that fresh set of super softs. Up into 14, and it's no wonder H Green has got that bad of tyre wear and he's lighting the rear tyres that much coming out the final chicane.
Yeah, I don't know why you push it onto lap 9, just picked on lap 8 for a set of softs. A fair few drivers did that. It just seems absolutely illogical to try and push the tyres that much when you know you haven't got the tyre wear to do it. Now board with Clarky, who's down in P10, obviously had to get that front wing change, and that's really compromised his race, as he's now got under pressure from the Force India on the Simplex. So yeah, he has dropped a fair way back in this Grand Prix because he should be near probably RWS and Ali as he heads into the hairpin on lap 19. He's also catching up to the back of Walsh, who I don't know if he's made a pit stop, but if he hasn't, he's not in a very good position either as they go down the DRS straight. Force India driver is closing. It is on the slipstream and DRS into the final chicane. Goes for a look up the inside and fails out completely. Didn't get a lot of space on the Force India driver, but that nevertheless is a simple up into P10.
Yeah, I think Des tried to go for a late dive at the final chicane, and he made it work from his point of view, but it resulted in Clarky being a little bit barged off the track at the final chicane as well. But yeah, we'll have to see what Clarky thinks about that after the race. But now on board with Jeremy, still holding on to the back of Alex at the moment. So these guys have got Supersoft selected for their next pit stop, but interesting to see what if they actually manage to stick with that. As Super Scrub gets all area on the exit of turn 9, and is now going to try and okay, he's actually hit the side of Aresi for some reason. He's now hit him again, and I'm not really sure what Super Scrub was trying to do there, to be honest, because from what you can see there, he's just hit Aresi multiple times, so I don't think Aresi will be too pleased with that. And now Super Scrub is going to be swamped down to the final chicane, and Walsh is definitely going to have to back out of this because he's okay. Oh, he's locked up the rears. It's gone horribly wrong. It's gone horribly wrong. Oh, there's multiple cars sideways everywhere. Clarky's going across the... Oh, it's just carnage. Carnage has happened on the final chicane of lap 20. And a bunch of people are coming into the pits. Aresi is one of them, as he's got front wing damage as well. So, I'll be honest, I have no idea what's gone on. So it's just as well we've got a replay. And down to the final chicane, he's all plain sailing nicely for Aresi. He's done the final chicane, he's overshot it, and then he's been tagged by presumably Super Scrub, and he's got a lot of front wing damage. He's got red front wing. So I think Walsh tags the back of Super Scrub, and then just locks up the rears and spins it. And Clarky, once again with front wing damage, is getting picked up in the accident. Ferrari fan as well, just getting picked up in the accident. Immediately aborts and comes into the pits as he's not longer fitted as well. So that's worked out horribly for Ferrari fan. And now Shelley once again moving out of the way of another car, which is Alex this time around. So yeah, Shelley not really fighting many people, but he's not losing time by doing it. So might be a good strategy for him to play towards the end of the race. But yeah, this has kind of separated that big train that we had at the start of the race, as a lot of that train had to pit on the same lap, and that was a little bit messy there, Dash.
Yeah, I mean, it all kicked off. I really don't know what on earth has happened. I think just a chain of events as Walsh hit the back of Super Scrub, and that forced Super Scrub into Aresi, and then Clarky just got all caught up into that as well, and it was just all very messy. But out in front, and Ford and Nardi, the gap looks very stable. These two, well, Ford might just be managing the pace, but it seems to be very equally matched. Nardi just can't get within that DRS range. to mount a challenge to the Red Bull driver as he heads through the final chicane. Isn't perfect there on form. But yeah, it's been interesting to see how this rest of the race plays out. If they have to make another pit stop, then it's going to see who goes to the undercut, and if not, then it's always about managing the tyres at the end of the race.
Yeah, so as we head now down into turn 1, gap 1.9 to Thorn then is now on board with H Racing Green, who's on the back of Loki at the moment in 10th place, and it's going to be, yeah, he's definitely going to have to make another pit stop before the end of this race. His tyre weight's way too bad, and he might have had to make an uncool pit stop there, and he almost slammed into the back of Loki there. Lightning reactions from the McLaren driver to not smash into the back of the Haas, and he definitely missed his braking point by about 50 metres, I'd say.
Yeah, I genuinely thought he was pitting until yeah, he went across the chicane. But now board with Alex up in P7, and it's worked out pretty well for him. He's made his final pit stop up in P6, obviously with all that carnage that occurred at the last chicane. He's gained a fair few positions, and Alex is also looking good. Interesting that he went for the super soft tyre. I wonder if maybe James might go with the ultra soft. I don't think he's pitted yet, but up towards the hairpin, and Alex is up the inside, and that is a nice move from the Renault driver. Shelley will order to follow through, and now back on board with Ali, who's up in P4, and will be looking to gain a podium position if he can find a way past Jamie, who is slightly lagging on the pit straight, but up the inside of turn 1, and that is the Mercedes driver up into P3.
Yeah, absolutely pointless for Jamie to fight that, as he's not really in the same race as Ali K at the moment. So yeah, Jamie definitely trying to put on a set of ultra softs as we get towards the end of this race. Obviously 12 laps to go, including this one, as we head into turn 6. And if there's a safety car at this stage, then it would work very well into Jamie's hands, because he will have the tyre life to get to the end of the race, no doubt, on the ultra soft. So, you know, it's a gamble worth taking, you have to say, from Jamie's point of view. He's got front wing damage as well, I've just noticed, missing a slight bit of the right front end plate. So considering that, he's doing a good job at the moment to be on that high up with that kind of pace, as we're still back to the top 2 and it's status quo up front. And everyone seems quite spaced out just looking at the minimap, apart from that massive group of cars that are at the back of the pack, who presumably were all the cars that pitted on the same lap when they had that little bit of a cluster at the final chicane. But no such problems for these two up front, and Thorn is, you have to say, managing this very well indeed.
Yeah, he is. He looks in complete control. Obviously, there is definitely the factor of penalties is very smart around here. Obviously, the drivers are definitely getting better at this with the how, you know, obviously they're now on their second season of this game, so you tend to see less corner picking penalties. But at a track like this, it's definitely easy to pick up 3 seconds, which would obviously not fall behind Nardi if we got stayed as it was. So obviously the race is never over until we have got the final result, as Clark and Edwards came even for set of softs. Honestly, a lot of it, I don't think he was involved in that collision on the podium. Then again, there was certainly Carl Jefferson who was involved in it, but I don't think he was. I think he just somehow ended up on the same bit of track as these guys, as Ferrari fan who's in P12, and also just behind him. Up towards the hairpin, and now the McLaren driver Jamie has decided that he wants to pit, and surely this will be the set of all top lines.
Here we go, yep, it's the purple stripe on the side of the tyres, which means it is the ultra softs for the McLaren driver. And remember, he was the one who was first in the wall at Monaco last time out, shortly followed by his teammate. And at the moment, Jamie's doing a very good job right out in front of RBOS, so it's worked out quite nicely for him. And he's got a lot of clean air in front of him before he catches up to the back of Display. So if he can shake off RBOS, he's looking good for a strong points finish here, is Jamie 905, and hoping to get his championship challenge well underway. So as we head now down into the chicane of turns 8 and 9, there is the simple 8 just up the road, so he's not too far behind it. It's definitely doable with the amount of laps to go at the end of this race. And now into the hairpin we go. RBOS looks like he's close enough to be in a position to try and overtake into the final chicane. He will have DRS. Jamie knows he's coming. He's going to go to the left-hand side of the track, not bother defending against the Renault, and RBOS is now up in front. So Jamie as well playing the percentages, knowing that it's not worth the battle at this point in the race, and he will definitely be coming back at RBOS later on in the Grand Prix.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how much Jamie's actually lost to people like Alex and Shelley, who took it for a second superstars much earlier. So maybe that was actually the right strategy call, but we'll see how that develops in the last few laps of this race. Now forward with Nardi, and well, he's starting to drop back on Thorn a bit. Thorn slowly eking out that gap. It's now up to 2 seconds. The pace between these two is so simple, it's absolutely ridiculous. Ali's dropped back a little bit from these two. But yeah, this point we haven't actually got a battle between these two, and that was simply due to the traffic and how effectively Thorn managed to get through that as we head into the chicane for the 27th lap. And it does appear that actually these guys were on a one-stop all of this time, which is very impressive from these people, because we've seen what's been happening to try and push the tyres as Hector and Ringo saw that. So these guys have managed to tie as well, and now back with JB and RBOS. And RBOS has followed the Simplay already, so that's very impressive pace from these two at this stage of the Grand Prix. Obviously on a relatively new set of ultra tyres. RC Alonso has retired from the Grand Prix, and now is going to see if Jamie's able to find a way past the Force India drivers as well. He goes up the inside of turn 1, and that is indeed flying up into P7 as the safety car has been deployed. Well, that is very good timing from the McLaren driver, and now a decision has to be made by Ford and Nardi whether they pick, and surely they both have to pick for a set of ultra softs.
I mean, they've got such a big gap to the top three. Have got such a massive gap back to everyone else, and you've surely got to imagine that they will pick. Thorn and Nardi have got a massive gap back to Alex. Ali K is kind of in the middle of no man's land, really, and I think Thorn and Nardi can make a pit stop and still rejoin in second and third place if Ali doesn't pit. So it's going to be interesting. Thorn selected Ultrasoft and indeed is going into the pits, and Nardi surely will follow him in. Yep, and it's been they've been following each other pretty much the entire race, and they're still following each other even into the pit lane. So now it has to be Ultrasofts. They'd be rather silly if they don't. Ali's chose to come in as well, we can see on the mini-map. And what is everyone else going to do? Alex is coming as well, so I think we're going to see a massive train here coming into the pit. Someone is going to surely stay out and just try and get trap position. And someone has indeed done that. On the map, we're going to see who that is. That is Shelley, yep. We got that right, and he moves himself up into a podium position.
Yeah,
he moves up into a podium position. So he's from being last at one point. He's I don't think he'll mind that at all.
It's an interesting call. So he was in P5, so he's probably very disappointed the safety car came out, because he was quite secure in that position. And well, this is going to be interesting. So we're going to have a couple of laps under the safety car, and then we'll have 4 laps of racing left. So it's really interesting. Obviously, with the DRS being so powerful, it means obviously that the drivers should have an opportunity to pass. But if they all end up in a massive slipstream train, then it just negates that advantage. So Shelley could be on for what I believe is his first podium of the season. I can't recall him getting one at any race previously, so he could be looking good. RBOS has managed to work his way up to P5. I don't think he's pitted though, because Alex is all the way down in P8. So RBOS, who's got an older set of Ultrasofts, but they won't be too bad. I think he did this around about 4 to 5 laps ago, as we're now back with Walsh down in P15. And that's where RC Alonso has. I don't know if he's gone into a wall there, or he's chosen to retire, but it looks like he's crashed on the exit of that chicane. Now back with Big Shot on lap 9. Oh, this is where he retired. Oh my god! Wow. Okay.
That was a biggie.
Yeah.
Well, now we'll skip ahead a couple of laps to lap 31. So we're going to get this race back on the way very quickly indeed, which is good to see. So yeah, RBOS and Jeremy have stayed out because obviously they already had ultra softs on, so they didn't really need to make another pit stop. But it's going to be interesting. How fast can Ali K get past Shelley if he wants a shot at winning this race? And can Shelley make his way, or at least hold on? Because, you know, it might not be that bad if Shelley will have the slipstream of these two, so it might not be that bad. And Thorne's gone very early indeed, which kind of actually caught Nardi out. And that's already, Thorne's got a very healthy gap indeed. If Nardi makes a mistake or two, Thorne's going to be long gone away, and someone's already dropped back at this. 2 cars on the mini-map that have apparently had a crash somewhere on the back straight, so they are not going to be anywhere near the points come the end of the race. So now, anyway, Ali K already up the inside of Shelley on the exit of turn 1 and 2, and I'm already getting a bad feeling here that Shelley's going to drop down the order like a stone.
Yeah, he doesn't pick up a lot of grip, and RBOS is the next person to absolutely mug off Shelley. He's down into P5. This has been terrible.
Oh, no.
Oh god, he has got no grip compared to these guys at Hulkersoft. This has really not worked out well for him. Actually, there's a hold on P5. Doesn't fancy making it too wide into that chicane, but now the McLaren driver's got a much better exit. They've got so much more grip. Shelley did actually pit very early for his super soft tyres, and that is getting exposed right about now, because now Alex is past him, and now he's basically dropped down to this position he would have been in if he had made a pit stop. The only saving grace for him is that there's now a big gap back to the Simplay, who is in P8. So that could give him a bit of respite, as Jamie has to go defensive from Alex, as Alex definitely has got the freshest tyres of Jamie and RBOS, and then he obviously pitted on the same lap as the top 3, as Jamie has to hold it round the outside of turn 1, and Alex appears with a lot more grip, and obviously Jamie lacking that front wing, and Shelley had to find a way past. But I think he knows now that he's just got to try and hold on to P7, because his safety car really has not worked out well.
Yeah, I think the saving grace for him is that the guys behind appear to have a crash at this point in the lap last time around, and Alex just picked up a warning there for corner cutting, so don't want any more of those. And Aresi has given up on his chances of getting into the points in this race, so it's been a bad day in the office for Aresi and the current championship leader, as we now head into the hairpin once again, and the gap was 1.1 in that sector split, so I think Nardi's gained a little bit maybe in that hairpin. And now down the back straight, these two have absolutely just taken off compared to the lot of them, showing how dominant they've been in this race. And now into the final chicane once again. Alex not close enough to go for a move this time around into the final chicane. And now as we head down the pit straight to end lap 33 onto lap 34. 2 laps to go then. DRS is enabled this lap, and you've got to imagine that there's going to be quite a few position changes in the last 2 laps of this race with now the DRS enabled.
Yeah, and also due to the safety car, it means that penalties will have a much bigger impact than they would have before the safety car. You can see people drop the whole heap of position. Obviously, got a lot of positions after the flag last time. Second on the road there as well, I believe, and then ended up finishing on P9 or something. So yeah, that was another disaster for the Williams car. Very controversial back game, but nevertheless, he does appear to be being dropped by Thorne slightly. This doesn't appear to have the pace. That just says 6 tenths, not more than 6 tenths for me. But nevertheless, he pulled away from Ali quite nicely at this safety car restart. These two seem to be in a whole world of their own in terms of pace as we head down into the chicane on the final lap. Now
Alex with the DRS a lot more over speed compared to Jamie, and Jamie's got nothing in response. Alex is up into P5, and is now next target is his teammate RBOS, who's looking for his he's looking at a very strong result indeed for him, and I think it will be his first good result for a long time since Australia. And he's finished out the points ever since that race, and he got 3rd in Australia, so he's looking for a very strong result here as well. He's now got Ferrari fan all over the back of Loki, who is all over the back of Shelley, so Shelley's dropped off the back of that train that he was on, and is now causing another one.
Yeah, Shelley's lost another position. I we haven't seen it, but he's looking for such a H Racing Green, who I don't know how they've managed to get up into P7. We haven't really seen much of that, but nevertheless, he is looking a good result from McLaren at this point, as Shelley is trying to desperately hold on to P8. He has got nothing left in those Super Soft tyres. A person who has got a lot left in his tyres is J4, out in front, has controlled this race. It's been a brilliant drive. I mean, we saw him produce drives like this back in season 12. He hasn't delivered it so far this season, but this appears to be the Red Bull day. So, well, he's now coming through the final chicane and will surely pick up the win here in Canada.
Well, we'll find out in a couple of seconds. He comes across the line provisionally first, and Nardi now across the line in second place. It is indeed Thorne's first win of the season. Ali K comes across the line in third. This is all kicking off across the final chicane. Ferrari fan takes the position. He's now lost the back end. Loki's going to have to run down towards the start-finish line. Who's going to be ahead? It's Loki, I think, and Ferrari fan just missing out. Shelley gets 1 point for his troubles, and Clarkey coming across the line in 13th place. He will be very disappointed with that result. And now we've got these guys a long way back, fighting for last and last but one. And now Super Scrub and Walsh are going to provide a little bit more action for us at the end of this race. And they're both on ultra, so there's no question that they are going to be gunning for it into the final chicane. Walsh is going to have the DRS down the back straight. Super Scrub is deciding to weave a little bit, and yep, he's definitely weaving. And now into the final chicane, Walsh chooses to go to the outside for some reason, even though the inside was open, and now bouncing over the final chicane. And I think it will be Super Scrub who will take home 15th place, providing no penalties, of course. And I actually don't know if he grabbed that. He did grab that 15th place off the Super Scrub, so that's kind of what Super Scrub gets for show, both too early there across the line. And this is what happens to Ferrari fan. So he's somewhere. Both Wooly's back on this train as well from nowhere as well. I don't know what happened to him during the race at that point.
Yeah, good move by Loki. Goes on the inside, and then Shelley just gets horrific traction on those super softs. Ferrari fan finds a way past Shelley. Then Ferrari fan gets the DRS on Loki, and so surely he's then up into P8. And then he takes the boundary and goes in too deep. Loki gets a much better exit, gets a lot of oversteer off the curve, and then Loki is able to get it on the line. God knows how. Then it's Ferrari fan was enriched there. But nevertheless, the Hatch driver gets up into P8 and takes his, well, managed to add some points onto his tally as a Resi. Oh my god, he just understeered into the wall, and that was his race over.
So there's Jay Thorne then, who takes the victory, and it's Ali K who is in second place. And he's worked his way quietly up to second place. Nardi is down in 6th place. He had 9 seconds worth of time penalties. So that has cost him an awful lot of time, and ends up down in 6th position. So Alex gets a 3rd place, 4th and 5th for the two McLarens. How on earth H Racing Green managed to get 5th place, I will never know. RBS in 7th place, picks up some more points, is first since Australia. Loki in 8th, Ferrari fan in 9th, and Shelley with 6 seconds worth of time penalties loses out to RC Wallen, who takes the last championship point. Meanwhile, it's Wooly in 12th place, Desimple in 13th, Clarkey in 14th, Walsh takes that 15th place, and Super Scrub with 15 seconds worth of time penalties is stone dead last. And the first of the non-finishers then is Aresi, then RC Alonso, then Big Shot, and Nervatank, who was disqualified early in the race. So Aresi keeps the championship lead 2 points ahead of Nervatank. Ali K brings himself right back into contention, and just 4 points behind his teammate and 6 off the lead. Nardi is in 4th place, tied with Alex in 5th, and Thorne makes his way up into 6th place with that victory. The two McLarens are 7th and 8th, followed by Clarkey, and RBOS rounds out the top 10. The Simplate drops to 11th and Shelley to 12th, and H Racing Green with that strong result makes his way up into 13th place. Walsh drops to 16th, whilst Big Shot drops to 17th. Loki moves up ahead of Wooly, and Super Scrub is still yet to score.
So Mercedes still have the lead in the Constructors' Championship, but their lead has been reduced thanks to Jay Thorne's win today to just 39 points. Renault look very solid in P3 on 72 points, with Williams just behind them on 58. McLaren are 5th with 56 points, with Ferrari 6th and Force India 7th. Sauber and Haas are tied on 34 points in 8th and 9th, while Manor remain at the bottom.
So that's it for the Canadian Grand Prix. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time out in Austria at the Red Bull Ring. From both me and Dan, we'll see you there. Goodbye.